First clean sheet in over a month for you guys. Solid defensive stand there at the end by guys like Sam and Rafa. What do you see from, especially having both your starting center backs out tonight from that defensive line?
Yeah, I thought they were immense. I thought Rafa and the back line were fantastic tonight against a high-powered offense, a group of individuals that have become one of the most dynamic attacking teams in this league. To have so many absences on the back line, I'm just so proud of the commitment, the decision making, the execution. Just really proud of that defensive performance, and again, I think something that we've been talking about is just that finding the back of the net. But I think tonight a standout for me was Gozo. I thought it didn't matter where he played. His and again, it's what we talk about as far as the work is concerned, and the drive. I see him improving with every game, regardless of where he plays, and we just got to get that the final pass, the final shot in the back of the net. We created some decent chances tonight, in particular the one that Jesus got in the second half. So, it's just putting the ball in the back of the net. But again, I think from a performance standpoint, I thought it was really good given the circumstances, and it's a performance to build upon.
With a quick turnaround for Colorado on Saturday, can a clean sheet like this and then kind of pent-up goals, maybe can that help to feel like, okay, now it's time to let him go on Saturday?
I hope so, Caleb. That's the idea, and then getting a guy like Willie back into the group, where he's a guy that we're gonna lean on to find the back of the net. Jay Glad coming back into the group, some leadership in the team. I think, again, the last 5 or 6 games, I feel like we've played some really good stuff. Been snake bitten by some decisions for red cards or penalty kicks or these type of things. But and the players are doing a great job looking past all that stuff and really focusing on what we want to achieve as a group. And I think 2 good performances back to back. I think hopefully will inspire the group to now take on a dynamic, direct Colorado team that's playing at home for a derby match in the Rocky Mountain Cup.
So we saw many young players show up and had a solid effort tonight, mainly Gozo and a lot of others. What can you tell us about these young players and that have stepped up tonight to fill in and make an impact on that game overall?
Yeah, I think our roster is relatively young, and so I think it's a testament to the work that the coaches have been putting forth, the players have been really responding, and they're learning on the go, right? And it's difficult when you're not in a position in the table that is top 4, top 5. Typically you don't expect these type of performances for young players. There's a lot more pressure. The margins are really thin, but again, guys like Bodie on the back line, Gozo, Dom coming into the game, Jesus. Diego Luna, and we forget that he's young, but again, these guys are really growing into their own, and it's really important for our team that these guys really get this type of experience as the season continues.
So there's been a lot of said so far in the media and fans about Diogo underperforming this season. We saw that he was pulled off earlier in this game. Just can you tell us what his contributions to the season has been so far that you've seen?
Yeah, I think it's been tough. I think there's been moments where like in the Dallas game, for example, the ball he played into Willie. Like Diego has the ability to change games, and it's I think it's been a tough adjustment coming to the league for him. And so again, he's working his tail off to do everything he can to make it happen. I think a bit more patience, and I think with attacking players, when you make that pass for the goal or you score that goal, things change drastically. And so I think looking towards the Colorado game, that'll be a great opportunity to kind of break the snide from that perspective.
Building off that question with regards to, I guess, the front attacking 4, we've had several players that have performed very well, and we've had some that haven't performed very well, and some of them have kind of lost starting spots. We've seen Gozo start the last several games, and he's performed very well, and Dom isn't starting as much anymore. Is there competition for Diogo's spot?
Yes, yes. Again, I think we brought Diogo here because he's got qualities to unlock defenses. He's got it, and I think in the short term, it's two-sided. One, want to give him a longer runway to be able to deliver on that, but the other part too is that if it's not happening from a coaching perspective, is making sure that we're still competing in games and still trying to get results while we're waiting. So 3-game week. Yeah, there'll be a couple changes to the group moving towards Saturday, and that's basically just rest recovery. But yeah, there is competition to every position on the team. I think that's my task. It's a difficult one, and again, I think the difficult part with that is some of the players that are competing for that spot have zero experience in this league, and that's always the toughest. It's the toughest balance to strike, because you want to, you want to give a longer runway, but the guy coming in for him has 2 professional matches, so it's very difficult to strike that balance. But again, I think the most important thing is the team. The most important thing is that we continue to create good opportunities, and one of these days it's going to hit the back of the net. But again, between the boxes, the guys in the back line tonight were fantastic. So you got to have a solid defense to keep you in the game, and now we need the offense to get up to speed. And again, not get up to speed, but make that final decision. And again, I think that's where experience comes in. That's where calm comes in. That's where younger players, typically their eyes get really big when they have a big opportunity. Experienced players in front of goal are calm. They'll drop a shoulder. They'll make an extra move. They'll make an extra pass. And so the development piece, whilst it's happening, it takes time. And so the expectation, we'll go back and watch the film, because Gozo got into really good spots. And now how can we train that to get him in a position where he feels a little bit more calm and time to be able to finish in a way that helps us win the game.
Pablo, nice points, well-played game. Were you surprised at all how Portland came out and didn't seem to want to put some pressure on 2 new center backs back there?
Well, it's interesting, and we deal with it every week in training. It's really hard to press our group. 1, because they're really comfortable with the ball, but 2, we create an extra man with our goalkeeper, and Rafa was fantastic tonight. And so one of the things that we take a lot of great pride in is even when they come press. So typically it works. If the first 2 or 3 times they press you, you kick the ball long, subconsciously you're thinking, let's keep pressing. But if you get broken 1 or 2 times, you're questioning whether or not we should go out and press, and it breeds doubt into their game plan. So, even in Dallas, we were down a man, and we were still playing through the lines. And so it's a real testament to the bravery and the courage of the players to play in those difficult circumstances, to play close to the opponent's line without flinching. And it's a game of cat and mouse, right? And the guys did a fantastic job tonight. So for as much as I think they wanted to come out and press, but I think the guys did a really good job of establishing that we will play through this. And so tonight the guys did a great job with that perspective.
And what about had an experienced player like Johnny Russell? Diego looked like he was a little fatigued and caught a knee where you don't want late in the game. Was there any thoughts of bringing in him to maybe make a goal or something?
Yeah, there was. And the other part too is that the game was really transitional. And so again, with Johnny, listen, there's no one that wants to get Johnny on the field quicker than myself. But again, I'll just, it's been 6 months since he played a game, right? And he's trained a week and change. And so the expectation in the game that's very transitional towards the end, from an attacking perspective, might have helped out. From a defensive perspective, probably didn't have enough in the tank. So that's something that we're working on. I want to get Johnny in there. I just want to find the right time to be able to do that whilst he continues to build his fitness.
And lastly, you have 4 games left in May. Who's coming back from injury, and what kind of rotation are you thinking to maybe give some guys some break before you have the break?
Yeah. Philip will be training partially tomorrow. Vera will be training full tomorrow. Kobe's training full tomorrow. And Kobe's probably 3 or 4 weeks away, or 2 weeks. Excuse me. He's been out for about 5 or 6 weeks now. So he'll get up to speed. And I think that's about it. But there will definitely be some rotations in the group for the weekend. We'll assess how the guys recover. But there definitely be in all the lines there will be rotations. As to how many, just have to wait to see how the guys recover.
Pablo, obviously you don't have a lot of time to prepare for Colorado, so one or two main points that you can communicate to the guys in the little bit of time you do have, what will you tell them about the Rapids?
One, they're a team that thrive in transition. They're a team that play more direct. They hold a really high line. So one of the things that we're talking about is how do we expose that back line, right? And in games where they do a good job of taking away the central options, but even with time and space, they'll hold a high line. So we've got to exploit their back line. And then defensively, they're really dynamic in transition. So our transition D has to be top and find ways to really control and get behind the ball when we lose it. So good pressure on the ball initially, and then good cover behind the pressure.
You have attacking players who haven't had a lot of time together. Do you try to simplify things then? And it looks like you got multiple guys who can pass, set it up, and who can get an assist. Is it really just get a Gata inside the penalty spot and inside the 6-yard box and just keep pounding balls into him and hope he finishes one or two?
That's the idea, DJ. I think, if Agata was in that position tonight, whatever it was, 8 yards out from goal, I put money on him finishing that. I think so again, I think getting the ball in dangerous positions, but it's also having a presence in there that bangs around. He's a physical presence. He's a guy that's scored goals in this league, and so I think he'll bring a different dynamic to our attack against Colorado.
And we don't like to talk about defense because we're the media. It's not what we do. But do you just want to take a minute to talk about Cabral and getting the third shutout and really being under it with a patchwork defensive line? I mean, I think we all know it was good, but it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I can't say enough about what Rafa brings to our group, man. I don't know where he'd be. I mean, the saves that he makes, the calm in his demeanor in possession, his decisions with the ball, and to really communicate and man that back line the way those guys work tonight. It's again, these are little things that end up being big things to build upon, and I think it also creates, in a weird way, competition and standards for our group, because those guys, Noel hasn't played a whole lot of right back. He's been training there for a few weeks now. Bodie hasn't played center back since last year about this time against Chicago. Sam hasn't played left center back in a 4 probably ever. And then Alex, so to be able to go up against this team really speaks to the quality and commitment to the work that we do during the week to be prepared to be able to endure something like this.
Last thing for me is Caliscan, is he a right back in case of emergency break glass, or is he competing every single week and earning his stripes?
I mean, I'll throw that question back at you, DJ. What do you think of his performances in the last 2 games? I mean,
I think you know what I think, but I think people want to hear it from you, not from
yeah,
me.
no, again, I can only go, I go off the same thing you guys do, right? Everyone else does. I look at performances, and he made so many plays that unless you're really looking at it, you probably don't understand, okay, whatever, he's there. But with the ball, he when he passes the ball, he passes it to the correct foot for the pivot. Why? Because he's been a pivot, and he understands if the pressure's here, I want to pass the ball this side, right? So so many decisions he makes offensively allow us to breed confidence in our build from deeper positions, which is cagey at times. Defensively, I'm just in awe of the decisions that he's making. Noel is one of our most cerebral soccer players that we have. Most cerebral. He communicates well, moves his feet well, defends. Not the most physically gifted player, but one of the brightest soccer minds that I've come across. I mean, he is just he's been unbelievable for us, in these last 2 games. And so for me, it's why would I overlook something that is right in my face? And so credit to Noel. Again, not a position that he would say he wanted to play, but when you want to make it, when you're willing to do whatever it is for the team, I mean, that's Noel Kaliska.
Anything else for Pablo? Okay.
Great guys, thanks.
Thank you.